And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Stewart Buzz. Got a couple things that I want to bring up with you regarding zodiac signs. So I was in the store earlier, and well, today we had this fair downtown, and people were talking about zodiac signs, and they were bringing up like just say Sagittarius, right? And she says, "Well, I'm a Sagittarius," and so this is what I'm like. So everybody knows to me that I'm a skeptic of everything. I'm kind of wondering. So they honestly think that every Sagittarius is the same. Well, no, that's not true. Now, do you believe in the zodiac sign? I have a problem with it. I do. So every Sagittarius is the same? No, everybody's going, no, that's different. It depends where your house is. It depends where this is. It depends where that is. It depends what time you were born. It depends, like, really? Really? Who came up with this theory? So a human needed to come up with this theory of what a Gemini is, what a Sagittarius is, what an Aquarius is, Capricorn. So a group of people got together and they must have grouped and interviewed people and what their characteristics are. And then they came up with this whole zodiac thing. Now, clearly I know because I had a planetarium in my high school about like the stars and all that fun stuff. And so, yeah, some of this does have to do with like the stars but like I don't understand the houses. I don't see any houses. I didn't see any houses. Did you see a house? I don't see a house. Apparently, you have to see like what house you're in, and I'm like, the only house I'm in is where I live. I don't understand the whole house thing, and I don't understand truly the whole zodiac thing. If somebody can explain it to me, that would be really cool. And everybody's probably thinking, oh my God, doing a podcast and being a psychic medium, and you don't know about zodiacs? No, I don't. Never studied them, never understood them. I thought it was profiling, to be honest with you. Because clearly every Sagittarius cannot be the same, or every Gemini cannot be the same, or Taurus cannot be the same. So then I was told, well, it all depends on what your rising sign is. Like, what the hell does that mean? Now I have a rising. This sounds very complicated to me. Why is it so complicated? Can't I just be Chris? I'm me. Whether I be a Taurus, whether I be a Pisces, Sagittarius, Libra, Leo, Capricorn. Does it really matter? I had somebody in the store say they would never marry or date a certain zodiac sign. I'm like, well, you're grouping all those people together. Why would you do that? It doesn't make much sense to me as to why you would group a bunch of people together that the zodiacs are dictating who you're going to be with. And now, all of a sudden, it's whether or not Pisces is compatible with like a Sagittarius, or a Sagittarius is compatible with a Taurus. Like, seriously? Like, just freaking go on a date or something. I mean, you're going to run your whole life around zodiacs. Makes zero sense to me. I had to share that with you because Kaylee's coming on in a little while. And she is going to talk about the zodiac signs and why it makes sense. Because clearly, I'm sure that she's going to believe in zodiac signs. And I am the skeptical one that does not believe in zodiac signs. Why don't I believe in those zodiac signs? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I would love your input about the zodiac signs, and then we'll go from there. Because honestly, I would love to hear what Kaylee has to say. She's behind the counter right now because there's a whole bunch of people over there.
Hello, everybody, and we are back on the Stuart Buzz. This is Kaylee, and as Chris was talking about, right, so he was talking about the zodiac signs, and so I am here to kind of talk about the other side of it and what I think, right, because I know his kind of belief on it, right, how all of the zodiacs and that sort of thing. So here's where I'm at with the zodiac, right? So the concept of the zodiac dates all the way back to the 3rd millennium BCE, with the early evidence of its practice in ancient civilizations such as ancient Babylonian, the Greeks, right? So there's been a lot of early evidence of the zodiac signs. And what I find, it's not my niche, right? So that's me being honest. It's not my niche. I feel like, coming into, when you step into the spiritual world, you have all of these different like avenues and stuff that you can learn about. And for me, the zodiac signs wasn't necessarily like my primary. But what I do find really interesting about the zodiacs is the element behind the zodiacs, right? So we have air, earth, water, and fire, right? And so there is an element connected to each zodiac sign. There is an element connected to each chakra, right? So if you look, we are totally made up of elements. And so what I do believe is, so for instance, I am a Scorpio, right? And Scorpios are very much known for their depth, in which I absolutely 100% can relate to the depth of a Scorpio, right? And so we're a water sign. And so for me, how I release stagnant energy, and this was before this was even brought to my attention, and this is where I find it really interesting, is, all of us humans and as adults, we look to how do we release our stagnant energy? And just know that there's so many different ways to release stagnant energy. So some people cry, some people get angry, some people need space, they need to take a walk, they need to communicate, right? So these are all different ways to release stagnant energy. And so for me, it's crying, right? And what is crying? It's the element of water. So that is how I release my stagnant energy. I like to be by the ocean, right? So if I'm feeling overwhelmed, being by the ocean is one thing that truly helps me. Being on the water is something that has always come up. If I'm really ill or if I'm really sick, the only thing that helps me is being in a bath, right? A really hot bath. And that's not for everybody. For some people, it is really interesting because I always ask. So when we talk about zodiac signs and people come in the store and stuff like that, we talk about zodiac signs. One of my main questions is I go into, what's the element behind your zodiac sign? So I say, so is, for instance, if it's a fire sign, do you get really angry when you're upset? Or when you're sad, do you get really angry? And most of the time they're like, yes, exactly. And so this is kind of where I have seen my own proof. Now, is there scientific proof that astrology is, no, there is no scientific proof behind it. But it has been known for many, many ancient civilizations and things like that, right? And so, it dates all the way back to Mesopotamia, right? Modern day Iraq, where people began observing and interpreting the movements of celestial bodies, including constellations, in the form of zodiac signs, making it one of the oldest known systems in astrology, right? And again, talking about ancient Babylonians and the Greek influence and, the constellations and how these play roles, right? So, and in my belief, right? So everybody has their own belief system, and very valid for everybody to have their own belief system. And for me, this is why I connect with the zodiac. And if you can look up your chart, right? So you have the sun, and the sun is really, to my understanding, is really your ego, right? So that is kind of like who subconsciously have come to be, right? So your rising is actually who you on the outside, like what you kind of show on the outside, like your style, you know, the way that you look, the things that you're interested in, like that sort of thing. And a lot of the times is how you come out to people who you're immediately comfortable with, right? As for the ego, normally it's people who you're more guarded towards. So it's if you come in a room full of people and you're not vibing with somebody, right? So you're gonna kind of immediately go to that sun. For me, my sun is in Scorpio. You know, my rising is in Leo. So it's for a long time I didn't even realize that my rising was in Leo, to be honest with you, because it's the little things. So I accidentally put the wrong number in the date that in the time that I was born, and for a long time I thought it was Capricorn rising, and that's just like what I thought, and so, but it makes a lot of sense because like I have that like lion, I have this long blonde hair, and I've always connected to like the lion, and cats and things like that. And so it makes a lot of sense to me to kind of figure out like, all right, like I understand now. And so my moon is who I am when nobody's watching, right? And that to me is in Gemini. So I like to talk a lot. I tend to be like super chatty when I'm alone. And I also tend to talk to myself a lot. Right? So these are just different things to kind of, that I've personally have gotten into within the zodiacs. Like I said, this is not my main niche, so I'm not like super, you know, I'm not an astrologer or anything by that means. But I am going to say that I do believe in it, and I think that it is a part of a belief system. I think it is something that you can believe because there is no scientific proof of a lot of different belief systems and things like that, right? So again, what I believe is the zodiac and the astrology and all of that, like this is the way that it can affect you is it's all a part of a belief system. And so I definitely can say that like when I put, you know, and when I look at like my chart and things like that, like, and people have explained it to me because I do have friends where that's like their niche, that's what they're into. And it's just like it all makes sense. Like it really is something cool to look into if that's something like you're interested in. So again, it's all really based upon your beliefs. So like for Chris, he has his own belief. For me, I have my own belief. It's up to you to kind of make up your own belief on the zodiac in that situation. But what it really did help me understand was why I am the way that I am, and to know that maybe the stars have something to do with it. You know, again, we are made up of all the elements, right, of this earth. And what I believe is that God created this planet, right? So God created this world, God created this planet, He created the stars, He created us, and we all have water, fire, air, earth, all within us, right? These are all things that we have within us. So air, right, connected to our breath, the fires in our belly, right? That kind of like that fiery sensation, that confidence, you know, whatever that looks like. Water, like crying, right? And anger is like also like a fire. Earth, right? We are a part of this earth, you know? And so again, that's where I find things tend to be really cool within the zodiac. And just know that the elements connect to so many different other things as well, right? So the chakras, right? There's a really good book. It's called Eastern Body, Western Mind. And if you have not read it, I highly recommend that you read it. So a lot of the things when people come into our store, Psychic and the Genie, and over here in downtown Stewart, you know, we have the stones, we have candles, right? We have all of these different tools to help people connect with their higher self, or, you know, with whatever their belief system is, right? So again, these are all just tools, but a lot of them really connect, again, to the different elements, right? So all of the crystals is very earth, right? Very earthy. You know, we have stones that again have water in them, that were created in water. we have the candles, right, for fire. We also have, there's lava stone, that's a volcanic stone. Black obsidian, that's a volcanic stone, So all of these different things, again, are tools to kind of help us to connect more with our nature. And I really believe that that's also what the Zodiac brings in, is it helps us to connect with our nature, to like our connection to Earth. Because that is so important. I feel like we have got so far away from our connection to Earth that what it really does is it helps kind of bring us back, right? So for instance, like somebody could be doing something, right? And they're not paying attention to like any part of element, but like if you have a stone right next to you, right? This is where your attention is going. And basically, this is you connecting to Earth. This is you connecting to an aspect of yourself, right? So again, like we've done previous podcasts on crystals and things like that. And, to be honest, I'm a very skeptic person until something works for me, or until, so I'm a really skeptic person until something, that sort of thing, like I see something really work for me. But what I cannot deny is that the earth makes these crystals. God had made these crystals, that whatever higher power you believe in made these beautiful stones. And people always come in and they're like, what's so special about this? Well, our earth created this just like it created, like God created this just like he created you, And so the constellation, same thing, it created that just like he created us, So everything is just, that's why I believe in it. And I think that people have different aspects of why they believe in it and, stuff like that. But I definitely relate to a lot of different aspects of like a Scorpio, or, my rising or my moon. So yeah, that's about all I have for today. If you guys have any questions, please put it below. Or if you have anything that you want to talk about, why you believe in the Zodiacs, if you believe in the Zodiacs, all of that kind of stuff, we would really love to hear your input on it as well.
Well, yeah, and also with this video, there is a gentleman that I'm going to be interviewing right after Kaylee is gone, and I'll put him into this video, and I'm going to interview him. So that should be interesting, and see what he thinks about all that. That should be quite exciting.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Hello, everybody. This is Chris from the Stewart Buzz, just popping in after Kaylee came in, and we're going to talk a little bit about crystals and a dude that comes to our store and moves in all sorts of weird directions as he's talking to each individual that comes into the store and tries to read them. Sir, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, my name is Artie. Nice to be here.
Okay. So how did you get into the world of metaphysics?
I actually wasn't like at first, like
Bring the microphone closer to you.
in my teens and stuff. I was like swapping engines in cars and different things. This didn't come till much later in life. Back in like 2000, I started going to a Reiki circle. Started feeling the energy, started going to gem shows and stuff, picking up crystals, feeling the vibration of the crystals. So it's been...
Are you one of those people that go on the crystals and, and then you fall over to the side and you fall over this way? Wow, holy crap, the thing. Do you do that?
I feel pretty strongly, but not. I want it to affect my mind more. I have some ones.
I think it affected your mind, to tell you the truth. Yeah, thank you.
Some that are kind of helpful. Danbarite's a nice stone.
What does it do for you?
I feel like it's kind of maybe brow chakra for me. I put it with stones that are strong, like a jasper. Tiger eye, I like tiger eye, it's very energetic. It kind of feels like I like to have maps. Like I look at a map and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going right here. Okay, so I kind of like to have maps, and I kind of feel like Dan Bright gives me that kind of feeling, like a solid feeling in that sense.
Okay, so the stone helps you read maps.
Well, it affects my mind and
There's a lot of things that seem to affect your mind.
makes me feel more solid
Does the
mentally.
doctor prescribe stuff to make you feel differently?
No, actually, I don't take anything, not even aspirin.
Okay,
Maybe
so
I should be, but
I think so. Yeah, we'll be interviewing the doctor shortly, and see what he thinks about the art. So when you are in the store and you randomly start doing Tai Chi or just swaying back and forth as people are looking at you like you're a psychopath, what are you feeling? What are you doing? And when you approach a stranger, what's going on here? What are you doing?
I like to feel my energy
Is
field.
that right? You can do that?
And I like to, like, sometimes I'll see somebody, I'm like, can I just like run my hands through your aura? Like I want to like calm
Can
down
I
or
rub your
smooth.
ass on my aura? Is that what you just said?
Not exactly. Rub my hands
Oh, your
through.
hands. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I heard that incorrectly. Sorry.
Um,
So you actually go up to perfect strangers and then you ask them, may I rub my hands around your aura?
well, if I see someone, I won't just, I might approach them. I might say, how you doing or something. I might approach. It doesn't
Okay,
happen too often,
so
but
listen, so randomly say, hey, how you doing? Can I rub my hands around your aura?
well, I might say something like, your
I think you might
shoulders
get
look
picked up
like
by the
your
police.
shoulders look like they're a little like high. Maybe I could just like do a little of this, like.
Okay, you just can't do that in the store because they'll actually walk
No,
out. You know that.
no.
So he was in the store the other day, right? And he was like swaying back and forth, and yeah. What? Yeah, show people what you were doing.
I like some Tai Chi, the 24 forms. I do a little of that.
Yeah, but you do it in the store in the middle of nowhere. Like, I'm having a conversation with somebody and you're rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
Sort of like somebody who would be in a little yellow bus going to school.
Well, it's kind of unusual, but you see some people walking around and they're always like going like this with their hair, very kind
Really?
of
I don't do
gently and
that. I don't do
smoothly
that.
and different things. They're
I don't do
like
that.
moving.
I don't. So you see people walking around playing with their hair. So you think it's okay for you to walk around playing with yourself.
Well,
Wait, that didn't come out right,
not
did it?
exactly.
Okay. So you like to feel your energy. Wait, so you like to feel yourself.
Well, I like psychic development groups and things. I like to go be around people that are psychic intuitive. I think I'm empathic and I pick up their energy.
What does empathic mean to you?
Taking on other people's energy, kind of. You kind of feel
And why
what
would you want
they.
to do that?
Well, if they're psychic intuitive, I would like to like pick up that. I just
They call those
feel
energy
like
vampires.
no, it's a little different. It's resonating with someone. Like when like if you strum a guitar and there's a guitar sitting next to it, the strings will start to vibrate. So it's resonating. It's not taking anything from the guitar. It's resonating because those frequencies are the same as its frequencies.
I've never seen that.
So if I'm around somebody and they're intuitive or whatever, I'll start vibrating to their frequency. I'm not taking anything from them.
And they allow this?
Um, they're not really necessarily aware of it.
Should they be?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've gone to some groups where I'll sit with someone. Like I went to a group in Casadega. This woman came
Casadega's
in.
fake.
I know. But this woman came into this group.
Yeah, was this in the bookstore, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
So, no, it was in a different location. But it was, anyhow, so the woman comes in, and I just had this strong feeling about a horse. I'm like,
horse.
thinking to myself, does this woman ride horses? I mean, she wasn't wearing a cowboy hat and boots or something.
She was?
No.
Oh.
So I'm thinking, what's with the horse? So later on, when we were, we practice reading each other, I'm like, what's with the horse? And she's like, my daughter's fretting over some horse. She lost weight over this horse. I didn't find out if it was her horse or whose horse or what, but there was definitely this thing about a horse going on. So it was just interesting that I just picked that up. It just had this strong. I haven't had that feeling with anybody else. Not
But
a
you
boss or
have to.
anything.
So if you have the gift, you have to learn how to use it. So you have to learn how to like turn it on right here, and then when you leave, it disappears. That's just the way it works. I mean, you can't go up to strangers and like when you were in the store, you would walk up to one of the customers and say, can I do this? Or are you a Libra? Or are you
Well, when I
talk about zodiacs. Do you believe in zodiacs?
I believe, well, when you have your sun sign, like your Aries, Taurus, whatever your sun sign, it's just when the sun comes out, that's all you see is the sun. When the sun goes away, then you see all the vastness. So your sun sign is just a small part. I mean, it's kind of what people see mostly, maybe, but it's a small part. So when they put these daily things out for Aries or this or that, I don't take too much interest in that. But I do believe these huge forces are there. The moon is pulling the oceans. The planets way out there are being held to the sun in an orbit. These tremendous planets, these forces are there. Just like right now, everybody that's making phone calls in Jupiter over here on their cell phones, well, this is in the air. If I had their
Did
phone,
you say
if
they're
they could-
calling Jupiter?
I mean, if they're making calls on their cell phones, and all that energy is here. We don't see it, we don't feel it, but it's all around. So these forces from the planets, they're there. And I believe they affect us. I don't believe
Well,
necessarily.
Of course they affect us, because like the moon, like we're not floating in space. So like we have this gravity thing that brings us
Yeah.
down. So that affects us. That's just the way
Yeah.
it is. But you're, so I guess what I'm trying to say is there are boundaries that you're supposed to have if you feel that there's a gift. Like Tai Chi in the middle of a store with no warnings at all. You start rocking back and forth and, and moving in certain ways, and then somebody looking at you, and then you want to feel their aura. Yeah, that throws up a red flag sometimes. So, you got to be careful on who you
Yeah,
do it to, and whether or not they're
open to it.
right, because not everybody that walks into a metaphysical store is open to it.
No. Actually, when I see people, I feel that some people, I look at them and I'm like, they're psychic, they're intuitive, whatever, and I want to say to them something about it.
Yeah, but you
But they
shouldn't.
may have reservations about that.
Right. They
know.
may. Any last words that you want to mention?
Well, Larimar is a very nice crystal. I'm actually sitting here holding a piece of Larimar.
Where'd you get it
to
from?
Calm me nicely. In your store.
Oh, did you buy it?
Not yet, but I'm
Oh,
going to.
the guy takes freaking crystals from the store and he doesn't even buy them.
I was too excited. I need something to calm me down. I knew I was going to be on your podcast here.
Lord.
And I was like, oh my God, I need something to like.
All right. We're going to go. Say goodbye. Art. Say goodbye.
So nice to be with you today.
And likewise. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.